Hey guys, it's after the bell time, and I have a problem. I have a severe problem.
Yes, but there's ointment and cream for that.
I need to, yeah, but not for me. Not for me. Because do you remember the movie Squeal Like a Pig? If you want to talk about ointment and cream, y'all remember that movie? So there's a reference here.
What? No.
Now, if you just look at on the screen right, his left, if you look at Josh's little arm over there, the little cute little, speaking of pig, suey pig, I mean sewer pig, and
come on now,
and there's this thing going on.
You're not making a good name for the apes here. He's literally been carrying you for 13 weeks.
This is the time. It's
13 weeks.
Right. But this is the time when friends become enemies and stuff like this, which is the NCAA baseball tournament is going on, and it's and one of the top two teams has been Tennessee, which I shall put mine on now just to offset that bloody mess that he's got wearing down there. Here we go. All right. I don't look good in this hat. Whatever. And it's also to see. I mean, now we have two hats up top and two no hats at the bottom. All right.
What's now yellow?
So you know what the great thing about that color orange is you can wear it hunting on the weekends, and then you can wear it to game day on Sunday.
Yeah, you think I haven't heard all this?
And then you can wear it to your court-mandated community service.
Exactly.
It's practically a uniform, right? Just need some numbers across it.
You know, our fight song is kind of good old Rocky Top, but theirs is they love to yell out Suey.
It's Woo Pig Suey. Get it right. Okay, pay the price.
You make whoopee with what? What'd you say?
Don't want to know. I gotta go. See you later.
I have no idea what's going on in this conversation.
Yeah, not a sports fan there, Daniel.
Sports ball.
This is a big deal, though. Yes, this Josh and I are obviously into sports, so this is a big deal. All right, we did lose Royce on the.
Listen, I wish I was. I'd have more friends, but
what was it? Dueling Banjos.
I look at charts for fun.
What movie was it? It was Dueling Banjos. It was Burt Reynolds. And
Oh, I know you're talking about.
Yeah, which people would associate to both Tennessee and Arkansas, honestly.
All right, I'm back.
Royce knows all the movies. What was the movie that Dueling Banjos was in?
Deliverance.
Deliverance. Thank you. There it is.
He just waited for me to come back so he can,
it was that big circle. The big circle. When I said squeal like a pig. We don't say that. They do. We don't say that. All right, let's get off of this.
I don't even know where this was going. I am definitely rethinking all my life choices.
All right. Hey, I wish you the best luck.
Canceling this week. See you guys next week.
I wish you the best luck. Josh, I wish you the best luck. I hope you only lose by one run each game. All right, here we go. All right. I'm the Tennessee Volunteer, Darin, and I am with Arbitrage Trade. Of course, this is After the Bell. It is obviously on a Wednesday, but not always. Sometimes we do other days, but it is Wednesday. My guests are Daniel Hopwood, who is my fellow hat wearer in the top right-hand corner. He comes from one of the bigs, the investment bigs. And then down bottom left, we have the guy wearing A, which could stand for I won't say that. Down in the bottom left, Josh Morgan. We like to have fun.
Say A for awesome.
We're both in the SEC. Everyone understands this, that we fight each other all the time. And when 14 teams from the SEC were in the final, whatever it was, I mean, anyway, we'll move on. We got Royce in the bottom right, and oh no, do we lose audio, or is he just mimicking his mouth?
Oh, we lost
audio. He's doing that. I can tell. He's
remember when I used to do that all the time?
Too much eye movements.
Okay.
Oh, now I don't hear him. I don't. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started because he can chime in once he gets his audio going. It's technical difficulties. it's his broker who's so mad at him for making a lot of money with our system versus his that he's trying to shut him off right now. Yep. All right. Still don't hear you, but we're going to go ahead from here. I mean, I could cut it off and then do a little choppy chop when his voice comes back on. So I'm going to cut it off right here. And then once you'll see it in the playback, this is where it'll pick up where Royce is actually talking. All right. Okay. So we're just going to sit here for a second.
I mean, why don't we just start and I'll just read all my numbers and then he can.
That's true. Whenever he pops in, that's what I was saying earlier.
Next part, right? Like,
yeah, that's what I was saying. Okay, let's do this. Let me
read my markets part and then he can jump in.
That's right. Okay, let's go. Yeah, because it's getting later in the day because he's been busy on the phones a lot lately. That's why we had to hire a sales team. All right. Anyway, let's move on here. Let's talk about the markets. Get the opening here. What's going on? SPY. Everything was pretty much flat. You had one red that was down 0.2 or 3, and one that's up or down 0.23, and then SPY was in the middle. So I'll let Josh and him talk about that.
I hear nothing.
I hear him now.
Right.
I hear him.
We hear you.
He's coming in. He's coming in.
So yeah, I got nothing. I hear none of you guys.
Can't hear us. Maybe it takes a second.
That's okay. We're going.
It might take a second.
All right. So since
you know
the
what? He
last
should
time
come
we
back in and
talked,
go. He should come back in and go peekaboo and then leave. All right. So Bitcoin, it's still right around the 105 that you talked about in your, because you're a day away basically, and it's still there this time. It didn't make any crazy moves. Gold, however, has gone up since you were saying that 3,350 to 3,400, right? I think that's what you said earlier.
Yeah, it's just below 3,400.
Right.
And
Right.
you know, it's kind of interesting because if you just look at the chart right now, kind of has 3 lower highs that it's setting up, which show like a little bit of weakness in the chart. And if you kind of overlap that with Bitcoin, you'll also notice that it's starting to form what could be the right part of like a head and shoulders pattern, which is obviously a topping formation. And it's, you know, if you look at it, like that's also kind of in, you know, it's starting to be in line with its previous high of around 109. You know, we hit a little bit above that level, but it wasn't able to break through. Royce, we can hear you.
I don't hear you guys though. Say so.
Well, this is our podcast now, so
Yeah, that's right. I'll just have to yell through the wall. Hey, Royce, pull your chart up so we can go over it.
I read lips.
We need IT.
Dad, I read.
We need
lips.
IT. You don't have to read my lips. You can hear me.
It's like, look at me.
It's okay.
Hey, what did you do, Daniel, when you had this problem that you couldn't hear us? What did you check?
All right.
I got a different microphone.
Yeah, okay. I hear you guys now. All right.
Hey, hip hop!
Yay.
All right,
Darin, believe it or not, the big fix to my audio issues was getting a cheaper microphone.
Hey, excellent.
All right. You can't be an elitist with your microphones. You got to get,
I got
with the 80%.
I got like the Logitech like Yeti Orb one first, like the big Yeti X or whatever it is, and have had 0 audio connection issues since using the cheaper one, which is
all right. We'll move on through here. If anybody's still watching this, the only thing we had left to talk about in the markets was the VIX. So talk about the VIX for a second, and then we'll move on to the second section.
It's a great vapor rub. Go for it.
That's right. It is.
Yes. So the VIX is settling in the teens. Actually, it's sitting right at about the 17 level, which is where
17 in the teens. Yes.
It hit in March, like just towards the end, and then bounced drastically all the way up to 60. So it's kind of using that 17 level as a support. You can see it's, at least as of right now, created a double bottom at the price now. And then also towards like mid-May, it also hit that same 17.
That's no good.
So,
that was bottom on the VIX. That's okay.
Well, technically, Royce, it'd be like a local triple bottom, which isn't a real formation. So it's about to go one way or the other.
Okay, good. I won't take a look. I'm afraid.
I think you should. I think you should for the people in the back. You know, give a little warning of what might be coming.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Give me. By the way, I shared it to you so that way you can extend it. Yeah, that's not looking good. That's not looking good at all. That's not looking good at all. Well, I take that back. I forgot. Yeah. VIX is backwards. So, yeah. Hey, why not? Let's go. Volatility is going to be at a premium based on the monthly chart. But on the daily chart, it's going to be just drifting for a little bit. So we'll see.
So it sounds like we might have a little bit of time until it
yes,
breaks,
we have about
to the upside.
2 or 3 candles. We have 2 or 3 candles that need to form. But that means wake me up when September ends because it's going to probably be ugly. Y'all remember August of 2016, right? Remember that flash crash in the middle of August? That was just coincidence. Continue on. Never mind. We're good.
Sick.
All right.
Great. Hell yeah.
Come on,
start
Royce.
my morning.
You know, we're 3% from all-time highs again. I mean, come on. This is
like I said,
crazy. So it's June. I've been yelling June for how long? Probably since last June.
Unfortunately, nothing has happened yet. So yeah,
I know. We'll see. We'll see.
So how far out of the money should my puts be on spot?
I have 3.5 weeks left. All right.
You don't want to know where my cash secure puts are on Tesla. They're obnoxiously spaced.
Actually, I do, but that's for maybe after the call.
I want to know.
We're not financial advisors, so we're not talking about this.
Yeah. That's true. We can't. No, we can just make money and not tell people.
That doesn't work. But then gloat about it after. That's great.
Exactly.
Hey, but if they join after the bell, they see what we're at least looking at. So that
we're a bunch of teasers. We're teasers, like all the girls in high school were. All right, let's go. They don't.
Yeah. Wow.
I didn't
Talking
say
about
now.
teens. On to the next thing.
It's when I was their age. I don't twist it.
I wasn't twisting it. I'm just saying. Remember, Rebecca's going to be listening to this, and she's going to go, "What? What are you guys thinking this week?" And then Caroline's going to go, "What are you guys doing?"
Hey guys,
zero chance I listen this far.
That's right. We said hello to Uncle Bob last week. We'll say hi again. All right, here we go. The bells, they don't ring bells at the top. What do you mean here, millennial? What are you saying here?
All right. So, I mean, I feel like I have a little segment on this every single week about how the market's about to end and it hasn't. But, maybe this time is different. Eventually, a broken clock is right twice a day, right? So yeah. I'll be there soon enough. But, when you look
now, though, if we get there.
I'll do whatever when it actually happens. But so when you look at 2 big earnings this week, you had NVIDIA and Salesforce beat earnings and then pop a little bit, nothing crazy, but then sell off on that preceded like pop, which typically if a company beats earnings and beats it somewhat substantially, which NVIDIA did, you don't see a sell into the pop, let alone the market only move about 1% since we had talked the prior week. So it's kind of interesting that markets are supposed to move up on good news, but they didn't really move. So that,
they move, but you still have to stay within probability. You can't break probability. Remember, there are rules. There are rules.
For sure, but it can still go crazier than people think for longer than expected, right?
Yeah,
but absolutely. it is a sign of where markets are at. If things are great, and then tariffs turn out to be illegal, that's
Congress
the whole reason
that pass those, not the president.
Yeah.
Right.
So a court you've never heard of said that they're illegal, right? And now they're going to be prosecuted or whatever. Yet once again, markets didn't really move on that news, even though that was the entirety of the initial market, turning down before we ripped back up. So it's kind of interesting when there's all this good news, but it didn't really move the market, especially on things that are part of the reason why the market moved down. And then some other fun facts that I saw were that 0-day options account for 60% of market activity last month, which is, like that level of speculation in a market isn't healthy bull market activity. Not saying it's necessarily negative, but it's.
Hey, man, hold on. That could be a good thing. They're like, hey, okay, get what you can while you can. It's like, don't be in the market, but
wait. Well, so exactly though. If it's like get what you can while you can, that's negative, right? Because it doesn't show a healthy long-term or even a we'll call it medium-term outlook for the market, right? Because if you saw a healthy long-term outlook for the market, you wouldn't be trading 0-day. You'd be trading like
why not?
Leaps kind
so
of
would
thing.
You leave money on if you saw $100 sitting in front of you? Would you not pick it up just because it was 0-day? That's $100. So you'd leave it on the ground in front of you. You'd pick it up. Come on.
No, surely, but I mean, historically, looking at like a market, like day trading doesn't make a market, right? Like, and
market makers definitely
retail.
Day trading makes a market.
Well, that's a bit different.
Is that not the same thing? Hold on.
Well, no, they're providing liquidity. They're not like necessarily taking an option. What?
I said that's what you call it. It's like for every buyer there must be a seller, and for every seller there must be a buyer. So if the market's not moving, it's an auction. So you got to get it moving. So they're definitely day trading. So maybe 60% of that market movement was actually the market makers making money off of those options.
I mean, it could be them hedging their positions. Yeah. I suppose that's not impossible.
See, we can make this work.
All right. Well, I'm taking the under on that. I think it's a negative statement. You're not going to convince me otherwise. Sorry.
Well, no, I'm not saying it's negative or positive. I'm just basically it's all conjecture. It's all subjective. I need math. I need objective answers only.
Well, start pulling the options data. That's all I got for you. I don't.
Or hand that down to someone that works for you, Royce.
Or buy me a Bloomberg terminal.
All right. I'm probably shooting myself in the foot right here, but I'm like, if I get someone to actually, with a decent voice to finish my book.
Oh boy, here he goes. I'm about to get a lot slower. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
If only you had helped me move, Royce. I'm just kidding.
Well, let Royce let me say the rest of my facts, and you can tell me what you think of all of them when you put them all together. Okay?
Oh, absolutely. I'll correlate for you all day, sir. All day.
Okay, thank you. So the other thing is, when you look at the market, the only thing that's really been ripping is tech. And when you look at the hedge fund positioning according to the Goldman Prime book, hedge fund flows have only been chasing global infotech stocks up a wall. And we know that because they have the largest notional buying they've had in tech stocks in the last 5 years, which is, 5 years ago it was COVID, which was like a huge tech rip. And then my more favorite part, and probably Darin's favorite part, is that Title Trust, which is like a company that makes, equity products, they're making ETFs that track big funds like Bill Ackman's Pershing Square, Michael Burry's Scion Capital, and Stanley Druckenmiller's past strategy for the family office that he ran. And when you look at, 13F filings, Darin, they're always delayed. So you're never actually going to make money on those ETFs. But
no, I mean, it's still what?
I don't know. With our indicators, 60? We do pretty well.
Yeah. Well,
but I think a delayed fund that that's trying to track someone else's strategy doesn't work. But if you use something like our indicators and have your own actual approach, you can definitely make money, but copying someone else on a delayed 90-day basis is, if I follow your trades 90 days later, Royce, like I'm sure you've already been in and out, right?
At least twice.
Exactly. So
nice, because that arbitrage band is good. Yeah, 3 months. 3
Yeah,
months.
so I think
you can really ride the band up and down twice in a 3-month period.
It's one of those things that's like a sexy retail product, but the only people making money on it are the people that are charging you fees for it.
That's most of them.
So
they would never do that.
With all of those facts, Royce, what do you think?
Daniel's confused, by the way.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's why I wake up just naked and afraid,
I think
can I field this one?
Are going to crash, and we're going to crash and burn. It will not be a soft landing. It will not even be. It won't even be a black swan. It's gonna be like someone snuck up behind you and punched you in the eye when you turn.
So a gray swan.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go.
Yeah, or Canadian goose.
Swan. Let's go.
Black elephant falling out of the sky. All right, so what you got, Josh?
Why it's got to be black?
Yeah. I didn't start that.
Hey, I don't make the title of the book Black Swan.
Exactly. What you got there? By the way, Ray Dalio is agreeing with you, especially when you talk about the debt right now, about how we're going to crash and burn. So
but he's a perma bear, and in his first fund, he testified against Congress
from a hedge fund.
Wrong and lost all of his money. So
there you go.
Also, he's pushing a book, so that's going on right now. Yeah. All right, Josh, what you got?
I mean, like, just taking a step back from this, I think really what I'm kind of seeing in the markets, and if you look at it from a, to the point that Daniel made, or that Royce made earlier about how VIX is kind of just going to tread water for a minute. And then you look at, to Daniel's point, how we're looking at the most of the market activity is just 0-day options. And then if you look at like just actual trading volume, we're like 20 or 30% under the normal volume. I really think the market is kind of in a wait and see. I think everybody's had enough time to digest what's happening with tariffs. We still don't know what the F is actually going to happen, but I think everybody's digested the initial shock of what all has been proposed as far as tariffs and the global economy and the U.S. economy. And, like the dollar seems to be stabilizing. You look at the various yields. I think I saw earlier, like 10, like 2, 10, 20, 30, every yield was kind of softening a little bit. Like it was taking, there was a little bit of cooling off on that. You look at the auction that we talked about a week or two ago, wasn't great, but it's kind of rebounded a little bit. We're just kind of in that situation where everybody's just taking a step back, digesting what's happening. And I do think that we're going to see a little bit less volatility for a short-ish period of time. Give it 3 months or so where we're just going to see people kind of figuring out what they want to do. And I think, maybe to Royce's point, we might actually see a big shock. What we might have that Canadian goose event that triggers something that, it might actually create an actual event. And that's, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But I think everybody right now is just so in a wait and see. We don't actually know what's happening because no one, even the guys at the top, don't really seem to be holding the cards or being able, or pulling the strings. They're just kind of like, okay, what is, are we going to get the taco trades? Like, or are we going to get the, we're going to get some random tweet where, oh yeah, buy now, or is he going to chicken out again, or is it going to be like what is happening? He seems to be just doing this all on a whim, and nobody really knows what's happening. So everybody's just kind of like, all right, we've digested the initial shock and all of this whole situation. Now what? And we'll just let it play out, and then we'll react accordingly. Because I think the risk on folks have already hedged their bets. The risk off folks have already, they've already established their positions, and again, going back to my original point, we're just kind of in a wait and see. And I think everybody's just kind of like, how is this going to play out? We don't really know. We'll just, we'll find out when we find out, and we'll react accordingly then.
There's only one danger in what you said, Josh. Only one danger. Typically, if you wait long enough, the black line and the RSI doesn't actually go down. It goes kind of like sideways, or just basically barely. You wind up back at the bottom of the band, and then suddenly you get a giant gap up. Because if it stalls long enough, probability catches up to the edge of the band and basically pushing you back to the bottom of the band, allowing you to have another leg up. So
I'm not saying that.
If we wait too long, it will rally. So depending, so if it takes more than 4 months, if we're in this pattern for more than 4 months, the next move is another bull market. If we do it less than 2 months, that's not enough time for the line to travel from the top of the band to the bottom of the band. So that means we will continue to fall.
And I think that's kind of goes back to what I was saying, is I think we're going to see almost like a 2 month, not necessarily a pause, but like let's just digest this. Let's look.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how long it's going to be, because that will determine the next move. It's on agreeing with you. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yes, I think everybody's just kind of taking a step back. Just like, are we going? Which direction are we going? What's happening? We don't really know. Let's see what steps are taken. And, I feel like a lot of people are missing one piece of the puzzle. They just don't know what piece that is yet. And then once they actually find that piece, then they'll, because like I said, the risk on, risk off people, they've already made their moves. But that's why we're kind of getting a lot of this 0-day trading. You're seeing options volume is astronomically high. Actual trading volume is 20 to 30% lower than your typical, even just the 30, 60, 90 day average.
Well, I think some of what contributes to the lower volume that we're seeing in the market right now is the fact that basically if you were doing 0-day options and they actually wind up assigning the stock to you, you're trying to also get called out of the stock. So that means unless you're called out, you're holding on. So that means you get less actual buying and selling of the stock, and more options playing, where basically people are hedging on both sides. They're doing almost a straddle with the stock, where they're selling cash secure puts, just in case it is a bull market. So that way, if it does dip, you can catch the dip and get more. And they're also selling covered calls. So just in case, basically, it is a slow week or a less volatile week, you get that premium and they don't pull a stock away from you. So you have a few options there, no pun intended, but But the long and short of it is basically less volume on the actual stock, because if you're actually holding it, unless it gets assigned or called away or assigned to you, it's not going to move. So people are definitely not buying. And to basically reinforce your point, like the people who are risk on, risk off, they're all sitting and they're waiting. And then basically the options that are trading in between is basically them allowing themselves to make money while they wait for it to make up its mind about which direction it wants to go in.
Oh, yes, exactly. I mean, smart money is playing both sides. Like, smart money is playing the straddle. There is no more, buy and hold, because that play is out the window, at least right now.
At least for smart money.
Right. And the buy and hold can come back. I mean, but it's no longer the up and to the right that it has been for the past, 4 years.
It's say we're back, baby.
Or
I did not say that in this week's agenda. Okay. Not my
we're hanging on, baby.
Maybe next week.
Next week. We'll see.
I mean, maybe if with a question mark at the end.
Yeah.
Let
me recap this.
Spider-Man movie. My bad. Let
me recap this then. It sounds like we got 3 of you guys that are saying September for the black suey pig. And then I'm sticking with June. So I'm saying here in the next 3 or 4 weeks, we'll see what happens. But we all know. And then I think he made the mention of
everyone's on vacation,
which is the perfect time to do it. That's the perfect time to do it. You can make a market move on low volume and high volume.
Absolutely, you can.
So because we saw it at AMC. Anyway,
that's why volume doesn't matter.
Yeah. So anyway, Josh said. We're not going to have that conversation.
You're welcome.
See, I said it first this time. So Josh says something about nobody knows, and that's why I switched hats to the tinfoil hat, because I guarantee you there are 7 puppeteers up there, at least, maybe 7 family puppeteers out there that know exactly what's going on and will make it happen and have all their little cronies out there placing their bets where it's going to happen. So,
and every single one of them are quants. So
they probably did hire people to do the quants. Yes.
Just so
anyway.
you know.
Yeah.
Trust the math. That's all I gotta say.
Yes. But create the events that will justify the math instead of the other way around.
So go, hey, ChatGPT, make me an article about XYZ and make it fit in there.
That's it. No, you can't do that. That's pay to play, whatever it was. What's the actual word for it? That's illegal. Anyway,
that's called propaganda. Go ahead.
Yes, it is propaganda, which we're living in. We're living in a heavy propaganda era right now.
Once upon a time, they just called that the news.
I trusted it back in the Walter Cronkite days. I don't as much anymore.
Get me started.
I mean, Darin, if you think the news is fake, imagine history.
Oh,
I believe that
too.
The
person who won is definitely a whole other history. So remember that.
That's right.
Well, not even it's the guy who could write, but for a long time wasn't many people.
That's true.
That's how
we got unicorns and dragons. Got it.
Right.
All right.
Like even if the guy won, it's his buddy who could write who really wrote this shit. And he's like, that guy's kind of a dick. Like, let's change it a little bit.
That concludes our tinfoil part of the show. Let's go on to tariffs. I mean, speaking of, what's going to happen here? We don't know, and that's why the markets are sitting where they are until something's decided on these tariffs. Just to go back on what you said earlier about going to court. I mean, this has been the thing, right? I mean, it's been court action for everything in the last 8 years or whatever it is. And so here we are again. And Trump has been winning almost everything that goes up that's been challenged. So here we go again. Now you got other wealthy people they're probably losing control, and they want to stop these tariffs from happening. So it's just a battle, and we'll see what happens. That might be what they won't decide till September. Maybe they won't decide this budget for the big beautiful bill.
Too. Oh look,
it could be. No, I'm not. I'm still here. This big beautiful bill, right? There's nobody that likes it. Elon doesn't like it.
That means for all the Elon haters out there, it's like, hey, let's do it. He doesn't like it.
He doesn't like. He said, it's just like every other bill. It's like it's a bunch of pork in it or a bunch of pork suey in it. And that everybody's getting paid out to all their friends. I can't resist. There's too many pig references here.
I just want to see. Yeah. There's going to be a cage match.
Put your money on me.
Okay.
Sir.
All right.
All day.
All right.
How big are both of you guys? Like, I don't. I only see you guys as little thumbnails. I'm like,
I'm trying to lose weight. I got a good workout over the weekend.
To fix this. Just roll a can of Inshore down the hall.
All right, we already touched on the Bitcoin thing. We'll move on past that. Although,
hold on. I have a low probability gray swan event.
Okay.
Okay. What we got?
All right. So
I resemble that remark.
And once again, I think this is low probability, and I hope it doesn't happen. So I think
first, if it did.
Yes. I to be clear, I do not want this to happen, but I think Darin talks about the black swan event. I think it's much more probable, and I think I've said this in prior episodes this year, is that it's actually the gray swan event that we need to worry about. It's the thing that's right in front of us that we think that's not going to happen. That is actually going to happen and going to make markets go. No, BlackRock's in it, dude. Okay. Come on, get real. Not going to let that go to zero. So I think that, when you look at the trade deals with China, regardless of this whole new court thing, every day when I look at Bloomberg, I see that both sides are not happy with how each side is negotiating. and each side is going to other countries kind of looking for help, around the tariffs to make better deals with them so they don't have to rely on much of China or US, depending on what side you're on. And I think we actually don't get the trade deal that we quote want. And so we end up let's say, Trump wants 40% now, right? That's where we're at until the official negotiation happens, which, by the way, is put off, right? We could still have the whatever 100+% it is in 60 days or so. But if that doesn't happen, then we're back to that 100% rate. And I think there's actually a huge probability that that does happen just because these trade negotiations don't happen. And I think if that does happen, it creates a cascading effect where you see these conflicts around the world kind of heat up in geopolitical tensions, and that you see, kind of war heat up. The US is, kind of changing its mind on how it views Ukraine, Russia. I don't really know the current stance on, Israel-Palestine situation, but I think you see a lot of turmoil, and I think there would be a political move for Trump to save face that if the tariffs go awry, right? Because he doesn't actually want 100+% with China, right? But if we end up there because a negotiation can't happen, war is a really good way to distract people. And so I think there's a non-zero chance of that being the gray swan that is going to punch us, right as we turn around.
Do you think Gaza, or do you think where?
Yes,
where?
All of it. No, you can see the scripts being written right now.
I think there's the big issue of, we're now changing our stance on, we can make a deal happen in Ukraine. And, before it was all, Ukraine won't come to bat to get these negotiations going. Now it's Russia won't come to bat. And you just saw Ukraine shoot down a helicopter or something within Russia.
Much more than that.
I don't read too much about it just because it makes me sad.
We went after their military. They went after their military.
Yeah, and so
they blew away a lot of their military in drones.
Is viewing it as a terrorist attack, right? So now they're viewing Ukraine as terrorists, which is Russia's let's be honest, would fuck Ukraine up if they really wanted to. Not that they already haven't, but
they're planning a response now.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you can bleep me out, but so I think, and I think at that point, China would support Russia. Obviously, we would support Ukraine. We have been, especially Trump now is kind of changing his stance. And I think if we don't have, a trade deal with China, they'll go, F it, there, I'll censor myself. And that could be the Taiwan moment, right? Because all of a sudden, one of the big points that China keeps talking about is they don't like how we're sanctioning them with chips, right? That's been a big point of contention. Well, why did they make the chips?
Yeah, that would definitely cause a war.
Yeah, so like I said, I don't want this to happen. I don't think it's the highest probability thing, but it's, it's probably the biggest gray swan in the room, in my opinion, other than Jamie Dimon saying that there's going to be a crack in the bond market, but he doesn't know if it's going to be in 6 months or 6 years, which Scott Bessent had one of the best comebacks ever is, he's been saying stuff like this since he's been CEO in 2004 and never been right, which I thought was a pretty good diss, but.
Ouch. Yeah. I will say one of the things that concerns me about that black swan / gray swan is that if they don't reach a trade deal in time and they do wind up at 100% tariffs, people did a lot of pre-buying in anticipation of the tariffs. So then we're going to start to have shortages because the everything is coming in way higher than they expected, and then no one's willing to buy it or import it. So then your ships are just going back and forth and not being.
I mean the economic downstream effects for the U.S. and China. Like, whenever you look at the China data, like their economy is not doing great. They're having a huge housing bubble issue, or I shouldn't say housing bubble, real estate investment issue. There's not a lot of like high growth jobs for like the young people. And they don't have like a rallying stock market. Not that ours is great, obviously, but like they're not, kind of moving in the way that they hope they did hope they were going to do with the stimulus. So it's not good for either side, right? Like it's not great for us and it's not great for them so everybody wants a trade deal, but it in my mind, it's like there is a non-zero probability that
Billy, yep.
We don't get one, and it gets a little ugly.
It's when two words become one word. Trade war becomes war. And that's where we're looking at right now, because you can see, to me, it looks like a good setup. We talk about setups and trade. I mean, the world geopolitics right now is being set up for something. And in my opinion, of course, with my other hat, it's all scripted and it's about to happen. So it's just, at least we can say within 3 months, because I'm saying now, you guys are saying September. So we're saying in the next 3 months, but
yes,
we'll just say that. And the charts would probably agree, right, Royce?
No, yeah, the charts definitely let us know where we're going.
So let's go. Let's go ahead and move on. Sorry to cut you off. Let's
Wait,
move
Josh,
on
did you have something? I feel like we interrupted you.
Oh, did we?
Oh no!
Yeah.
The scariest part to me is that one of the things that Trump has said about extending, he keeps wanting to talk about like a third term or extending his term, or he keeps using like, would you run again or something like that, and like the phrase he keeps using is like, there are ways. And one of the things that a lot of people have kind of, I mean, obviously this is crazy and probably won't happen, but it does kind of, if we get to the point where there's not a trade war and we actually get into an actual war, then the other thing is, think about how long the Russia-Ukraine has gone on. What are we on, like year 3 now?
Yep.
Let's say that none of this trade stuff goes through it. And the way we've been doing it so far, been kicking it down the road, okay, I'll put it another 90 days, another 90 days, another 90 days. And so then we get into like a year and a half. And then if we don't get it, because again, you got to think about like the World Trade Organization kind of calls the shots on a lot of these tariffs and things that are happening. And then you start an actual war. You can't hand over presidency during times of war. There's not going to be an election.
That is the trick and the loophole.
And you can't so, and then at that point, do we get into a really like borderline Armageddon situation where he's just like, I'm not going to ever end this war because I don't, does he care? I don't truthfully don't know. But if we get to that point, then yeah, I mean, it's just going to be a way for him to retain his current status. And that, like, to me, is like one of the scariest thoughts that is.
Yeah, they thought the same thing when Biden at the end of his term.
I was going to say, I heard that at the end of Biden's thing.
And then basically he'd have to step down, and then the vice president will wind up being the president, and all that. But so far, that didn't happen so far.
And I agree. I don't. Biden to me never struck me as the one to push the button. He just.
No, that was Jill.
Right. Well, yeah. Right.
Whoops.
Okay. Right. Or one of his, or one of his, one of his robotic clones.
Yes, that's right. I had to throw that in there.
Right.
Because I have another hat.
It was an Elon chip guy. It was fine.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
He had they got Biden with one of the Neuralink things.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go.
Right.
He's like, hey. Yeah, I can make someone liberal watch.
Ain't that a scary thought?
Okay, so let's go back to something happier. Like, what's the next subject?
Here we go.
Yeah, we're talking about anything happy in this podcast.
The next subject.
I just want to know where Neo and the White Rabbit is. That's because
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, at that point, you're playing with Matrix, Neuralink, and yeah.
Let's see. Neo setting at $7.38.
Do we have some happy crayons?
Yes, we're about to go to crayons. We got to go to crayons, or we're going to have a 3-hour show here. Let's go. After the bell, crayons.
Crayons, yes.
With Royce Wells. He should have had time to pull it up now that I have this.
I'm going to actually pull up QLD.
Oh, okay.
Pro shares for the QQQ. Remember, the tech has been going, right? So what's going to happen next? So this is the monthly scale, and looks like it's trying to begin a new bullish market. See that green X right there? Let's go down one more level. This is the weekly time frame. The candles have made it above the black line, but the compass line and the RSI line have the fast RSI line hasn't made it quite above yet. We are in this is like week 6 or 7 of a bull run on the market. And pro shares Ultra QQQ, I think, is twice. It moves twice as fast as the Qs, both up and down. So the fact that this has gone this far, this quickly, from 72 all the way up to 108 in that 6-week journey, almost a 50% run. How about that for crazy? I think that basically it's going to continue going up. So as long as the Qs continue going up, we should be continue going up. Looking at this on the daily, looks like there's a top out somewhere near around 125. So we're only sitting at about 108. So we have about $15 or so left in here. And since that's twice, or moves twice as fast as the Q, that means a $7 move on the QQQ should be the very top of the Qs. So that means let's go take a look at the Qs real quick. So at the Qs, that means us getting to about 535 or so should be the top for us, and basically call for us to have to come back down. Looking at this right at on the 4-hour time frame, notice how this guy is pinching and it's going in. They're basically closing in. That means probability is actually shrinking, and statistically you have less chances of going higher. And typically when that happens, that means there is a major trend that is about to change. So the fact that I'm turning on our infinity band on our 4-hour time frame, which is basically a very large band, larger than our apocalypse band, and this is basically the topping that we're currently seeing, that I'm expecting to basically go on for about 3 or 4 months. Hopefully no longer than 3 or 4 months. If it can go for 3+ months, we get a bull market, and we basically hold that line that's sitting at 493, which is support for our QQQ. If it can hold this for that duration, as you can see, the longer we're going sideways, this red line that's in the danger zone is slowly retreating from the danger zone. So the longer we stay here, the more chance that that red line has the ability to journey to the bottom of the band and give us a brand new bull market, which will scare and surprise a lot of people. But in a stagnant market, basically just hold your chips, as they say, hold, and you should be okay. All right, back to you guys.
All right, that was after the bell.
I just want to say, for our listener, don't buy and hold leverage products. The time decay will make you go negative.
Yep, that is very true.
It's a trading vehicle.
Yep. Yeah, don't electronic. What's the ETN? It's trading note.
Exchange traded note. I mean, pretty much what these products do is like, depending on the product, it's like it uses futures or options for leverage, and so you get like all the decay aspects of that. It's just packaged pretty in a ETF. ETN.
It's like don't just sit and wait. Worst thing you could ever do. So going up, going down doesn't matter. Doesn't even matter the direction you're playing. You will lose.
Yeah. It's like whenever I trade the VIX ETFs, it's like I only do it for like 5 days tops, because anything beyond that, like if it's not going in your direction, like
it will. You're
a sucker.
Yep.
You VIXy. I've done it.
UVXY and SPXY. Yeah.
I always trade VXX.
That's another scary one.
All right, guys, let's talk about happy things like winning. So let's move on.
We can talk about that. I mean, everyone has done it now, so we can actually
someone
say
now
made it to the board.
Got off the schneid here.
I hope you enjoy your one win this week.
Oh boy, there he goes. All right, he's still shooting fire from down there. Or spitting fire like pigs do. So let's go. Let's go to the scoreboard. You will see at last. I
just got to ask Josh. You're not a Cowboys fan, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Never mind.
That makes sense. Everything makes sense now.
Yeah, I'm not happy about it either.
Believe me, I don't know a single Cowboy fan.
Guys, let's focus. Let's focus. I finally get a win. Let's focus here on the scoreboard.
We are focusing on everything else.
Oh, okay. So, if you look at the scoreboard, you will see that the Apes now have 7 wins and the Quantitudes have 6 wins. So, we've taken the lead. See, that's the only reason I was here was to take the lead. I don't really play until it's time to take the lead. That's what it is. I would have been winning all these, but that's no fun.
And when we play games, he's kill stealing is what he's doing. He's literally those people are usually frowned upon, right? And then games later. So
I'm used to being frowned on.
Are you a camper?
You guys,
are you a camper?
All right, I'm a camp counselor. All right, so let's go to the pick, which I do have ready, and it's a choice of 2. Like we've been doing as far as channels go. So one which I want to see is U.S. Steel, which is X. We've had a lot of news, and then Hims has also had some news in the last couple of weeks. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I can't get that one up.
Oh, don't.
I was trying to think of some jokes.
Okay, that one got me. Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about. Mine.
That was a good one, right? Hey, all right. That's okay.
Royce, mine's like steel. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, that's the other one.
Oh, yeah. Only with your ex, though.
Steely eyes.
Royce has got jokes today. Okay,
he does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
We talked about Hims. Look at that. Look at the up and down there. I had to say that too. With Hims.
Yep, definitely some flare-ups there.
Looks like you're about to go deep diving here.
Jesus. Okay.
All right.
I'm not going to slow that down because that sounds wrong.
Yes, intentionally. So
right.
Is there enough of a channel here? It looks like it's just way overextended.
So on the 4-hour time frame, looks like it's not that much. We had a double top on the daily time frame, waiting for the dashboard to draw, and it's good God, the volatility on this guy. There's an outlier.
Yeah.
So, right. So it looks like 60-ish is the top, but there's an $83 guy that's just sitting there. Right. For the bottom, once again, because of how volatile it is, it looks like $50 is the bottom. So it looks like there's about a $10 channel. But once again, that outlier all the way down to 69 cents. God bless.
What?
You see it just as well as I do.
I do. The Z Pro.
So
50 to 65. That's an awkward number.
We can do that.
Or do you want to look at X to see which is better?
Well, X is not much better.
I know which way I'd go on X versus on the other one.
Yeah, I think that one's a way easier pick. I think we all want a particular range on that one.
Well, it's about like how far down though, not just
right. And see, this doesn't help either. Look at this: 54 to 52, 53 to 50. It says that the range is extremely small, but then the further you get to the bigger time frames, you go $30-$40 range on a $50 to $60 stock.
I mean, we gotta cut Darin some slack. He hasn't picked in a long time.
Oh yeah,
he's
out of practice.
No,
he's
but
out
I
of
listened to the
practice.
news, and I know both of these have been big in the news because, in fact, Hims was about to go international or something like that. I think that's what the news was. So I would want to do Hims anyway.
They bought a company in Europe.
Yep. Which means they're typically going to expand their business.
So you need to order some Hims, Darin?
No, he needs some socks. SOCKS.
All right. So you said the range is from 50 to 69. Is that what? Oh no, 65.
65.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, let's do 50 to 66 so that we have a $4 range on each.
Right. Okay. All right.
Which one are we doing?
Hims.
Okay.
Prize, you're going up to the 66 though. Ooh, okay. It's currently at 53. All right, so we've got 50.
Dude, that giant
54,
candle last week.
54.
67.
It's almost like that candle was taking the product. So 58, 62. 60,
These jokes just don't end.
They don't.
They last.
But when they do end, probably want to have a cigarette. All right, so
they last so long. You need to call a physician.
Okay. We got to stop. I'm going to go with.
Yeah, I don't have a position in this one.
What's your favorite position in this chart? I'm going to go with 54 and below.
Okay.
And I will select, even though he's wearing godly awful.
See?
He was kind of mean to you today, too. Don't you want to
clothes? And because they haven't played yet, nobody's ahead or behind yet, I'm going to go with my fellow ape, Josh. So what do you got?
You said you got 55 and under?
54 to 50.
Yeah, I got 54 and under. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
God, this is a murky chart.
Very.
So this is
I
where
guess I'll just go.
this is where I flip the script and mess with you guys.
I'll just go one above you, I guess.
That's what I figured you'd do.
So that means we have to go up. So that means we're looking for bullish everything. Up and to the right. We're back, baby. We're back.
All right.
I mean, but that's the thing, though. This one very well
could. Because there could be news about the expansion in Europe. So, all right. So, Royce, I went with my fellow ape. Now I'm going with my fellow one winner, and Royce.
So I am going to actually take. I'm going to take everything 62 to 64. Let's go.
62 to 60. Well, 62 and up.
62 and up. Yep.
62 to 66 plus.
Yep.
And Daniel, that puts you at 58 to 62. All right. There we are.
Let me mark it on my chart so that I can actually look at it this week.
Can you remember? And then make sure you put the.
I mean, if you're going to go up, get it way up. Don't go halfway up. I mean, and notice. And we're going by age here, so that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Darin, you're right. You need to have the lowest one.
Wait. I'm way younger than you. What?
If I have the lowest one.
Vitality.
Yeah. Darin's hoping for a little droop.
Oh, boy. All right, guys, let's get out of this mess because it's turning into a whole different type of show. Even though every week that I put it onto YouTube, it asks, "Is this child or no?" And I always say no. So we're safe on Daniel's mouth and on this subject. So
yes, there you go.
All right, hey guys, thanks for coming. Late or not, thanks. I did say that. It was not planned. I don't do script like the planners of the world.
Nothing. It was the facial expression that did it. Wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. Okay. All right. So moving on.
All right. Continue going. Yeah.
Let's get out of this bed and get out of here. All right.
No pare, sigue.
See you guys next week, Daniel. See you here in a second. Y'all have a good one. No black Razorbacks this week. Royce,
What?
stop it.
Make that make sense. I'm waiting.
No black swans or Razorbacks this week.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Josh, we can't.
It's in context.
And this
Josh,
is why
context.
we don't let him win.
Yeah.
This is why we don't.
Okay. All right. No, for real. See you guys later.
All right.